Sobering numbers coming out of the Ukraine.
It's a deliberate campaign to kill, to torture, to rape, to commit atrocities.
As its president addresses the UN. A Miami man accused of the January 6th conspiracy enters a plea in federal court. And decades after retiring from the U.S. Coast Guard,
my mother didn't want me to join anything in the service.
A woman who was stationed in South Florida looks back. These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Jessica Costa.
I'm Anya Joseph. Today's Wednesday, April 6, 2022.
From the South Florida Media Network's Biscayne-based studios in North Miami, this is SFMN Newsbreak.
During an audience at the Vatican earlier today, Pope Francis held up a stained Ukrainian flag in a show of unity for Ukraine. Hours before the flag was delivered to the Pope, Ukraine's president delivered an impassioned plea to the United Nations.
CNN's Isabel Rosales reports, and we want you to warn you, much of the video from Ukraine is graphic and disturbing.
A sobering and graphic account of alleged atrocities at the hands of Russian soldiers.
They killed entire families, adults and children, and they tried to burn the bodies.
Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky demanding accountability, telling world leaders Russia's actions are no different than a terror group.
The most terrible war crimes of all times we see since the end of World War II.
One big distinction, he says, Russia is a permanent member of the UN Security Council.
Where is the security that the Security Council needs to guarantee? It's not there.
His address comes just one day after visiting mass graves in Bucha, a massacre exposed for the world to see. A growing number of leaders, including President Biden, want Russian President Vladimir Putin on trial for war crimes.
It's a deliberate campaign to kill, to torture, to rape, to commit atrocities.
NATO is now gathering evidence to prove it, according to the alliance's U.S. ambassador. Yet the Kremlin is doubling down, calling the massacre fake. But mass graves and bodies can even be seen from space via satellite imagery. On the front lines, the violence is nonstop. Terrifying moments as a CNN crew comes under artillery fire outside Mykolaiv.
Down here, John, down here.
Danger Ukrainians face every day. I'm Isabel Rosales reporting.
Proud Boys leader Enrique Tarrio, who is from Miami, pleads not guilty to conspiracy for the U.S. Capitol invasion. Although Tarrio was not in D.C. on the day of the attack, he is being accused of orchestrating the ambush on January 6th. Prosecutors say they may add defendants to the indictment. As of now, Tarrio and 5 of his members will remain in jail and are scheduled to go to trial next month.
Ohio lawmakers may be following Florida's footsteps as they consider restricting the discussion of sexual orientation and gender identity in schools. Yesterday, Ohio Republicans introduced their version of what critics are calling the Don't Say Gay bill. Officials say if this bill becomes a law, educators can face serious consequences if violated. Many say this decision may cause more harm than good to LGBTQ youth.
Viral footage shows a scary scene in Jupiter, a drawbridge that began to move and crushed a pontoon boat. The boaters were seen jumping off the edge in fear. It's still unclear why the group was under the bridge, with signs marking danger while moving machinery. The bridge is operated by Palm Beach County. According to the county manual, operators are supposed to check the 4 boats. Fortunately, no injuries were reported.
A woman seeing her 99th birthday with quite a story to tell. She was among the first women to serve the U.S. Coast Guard, and she was stationed right here in South Florida. As reporter Megan Marshall tells, the woman was part of a group called SPARS, which stands for Semper Paratus, Always Ready.
Looking back at the good old days is something special for Marie Goff.
It makes me feel young again to see those pictures.
She's a 99-year-old World War II veteran who served in a very unique role as a SPAR.
I like the SPARS very much. And I always would be in the company of of the best of the Spars.
She enlisted after her brother died overseas, serving his country. She felt it was her duty to serve.
And after that, my mother didn't want me to join anything in the service, but after my brother was killed, I joined the service.
Goff was stationed in Palm Beach, Florida, and served at one of the stores in the Assembly Hotel.
Right there. See?
These memories she's flipping through are some of her most fond ones, including VJ Day, the day the U.S. declared victory.
It was the most fun because we declared victory, and that was the end of our Spars.
By her side is her granddaughter, Caitlin Dunkel, an Air Force veteran herself. She says her grandma was the reason she joined.
I mean, she was always so proud of it. My grandpa was always so proud of it. They've always been so proud of their service that I was just like, I want that pride. I want to be as amazing as she is.
A woman reflecting back on life, looking at the role her service played, soaking in the joy and pride it brings her.
That was Megan Marshall from Spectrum News Milwaukee. Even though Marie Goff served in South Florida, she has spent nearly all of her retirement in Wisconsin.
The Florida Panthers and the Toronto Maple Leafs taking their game to overtime.
That's still ahead, and so is this story.
Everybody just wants to win. It can be anybody's night.
And the Heat, having to win just one more game, have home court advantage for the Eastern Conference playoffs. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
If a natural disaster shows up at your doorstep, you can't just turn it away. That's why it's important to prepare for emergencies before they show up. Go to ready.gov/plan to find the tools and tips you need. And make a plan today.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
It was raining threes at the FTX Arena last night as the Heat set a new franchise record. There were 23 Heat three-pointers in all, but despite all that scoring, the game against the Charlotte Hornets was close at the end of the three quarters.
It was a 5-point game at the FTX Arena last night, but then the Heat outscored the Hornets 42-18 in the fourth quarter to win comfortably, 144-115, the second most points Miami has ever scored in a single game.
Everybody just wants to win. It can be anybody's night when it comes to scoring or getting assists or rebounds. Nobody's chasing stats, and we love that.
With the win, Miami clenches the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference and home court advantage in the playoffs.
The Florida Panthers faced off against the Toronto Maple Leafs in what will likely be remembered by Panthers fans as one of the greatest comebacks in team history. It was last night at the FLA Live Arena in Sunrise. The Panthers fell behind early with a score of 5-1 in the second period, but the Panthers soon found their stride mounting a ferocious comeback and ended up winning the game 7-6 in overtime. That's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Jessica Costa.
I'm Anya Joseph. Get more news anytime at sfmn.fiu.edu.